All right, let's dive into an idea that might sound a little backward at first. We're going to talk about how the real secret to getting more done isn't about adding more, but actually taking things away.
You know that feeling, right? You decide you're going to exercise more or read more books or whatever it is, but every single day it feels like this constant fight just to get yourself to do it. You're trying to force it. But what if there's a totally different and frankly, way easier way to go about it?
See, it all comes down to these two completely different approaches. Most of us think we have to just push harder, summon more willpower, force the motivation. But the real game changer is when you shift your thinking to just removing the things that get in your way. One feels like a constant struggle, the other just flows.
To really get this, there's this simple but brilliant metaphor that explains exactly why just trying harder is so often the wrong strategy.
Okay, so picture a garden hose in your backyard, but it's got a big kink right in the middle. Now, you've got two choices to get more water out. Your first instinct might be to run back to the faucet and just crank it up as high as it'll go. That's willpower. It's a ton of effort, a ton of pressure. Or you could just walk over and unbend the hose. Suddenly, the water flows freely. That's removing friction.
And that simple act, just unbending the hose, is the heart of this whole strategy. It's not about adding more force, it's about getting a better result by taking something away.
And look, this isn't just some self-help idea. It's a principle that literally revolutionized manufacturing. Back in the 1970s, Japanese companies got obsessed with this concept. They went through their production lines and relentlessly looked for every single wasted movement, every tiny bit of friction they could possibly remove. And the results? Well, they were absolutely staggering.
And this is where you can really see the payoff. By 1974, American-made TVs needed 5 times more service calls than the TVs being made in Japan. Just think about that for a second. By focusing on removing all those little problems and inefficiencies, they didn't just get faster, they ended up with a dramatically better product.
So let's just put a name on this, right? It's addition by subtraction. It's this whole strategy of making something better, not by adding more features or more effort, but by systematically hunting down and removing anything that creates friction or waste. You subtract the bad stuff and you add amazing results.
And if you think this is just some old story about factories, think again. This principle is probably more relevant today than ever. In fact, it's the hidden engine running behind so many of the products and services that we all use every single day.
I mean, just think about what these things really do. Meal delivery services, they remove the friction of having to shop and cook. Dating apps remove the social friction of meeting new people. Ride-sharing gets rid of the friction of finding a taxi. Every single one of these huge industries is built on that one simple premise. Find something that's a hassle in people's lives and just remove it.
This is the never-ending mission for modern businesses. How can we give you the same result but make it easier? They're obsessed with reducing the number of clicks, simplifying forms, automating steps, because they know we're all going to take the path of least resistance.
And this is a perfect example of how sensitive we are to even the tiniest bits of friction. The British government wanted more people to pay their taxes online. So instead of sending a link to a website where people then had to find and download the form, they just sent a link directly to the form. That tiny change, removing one single click, boosted the response rate from 19.2% to 23.4%. That's millions of pounds for the government, all from unbending the hose just a little bit.
Okay, so this stuff clearly works for giant companies and governments. But how do we bring this home? How can we start applying this to our own goals and our own lives?
Well, the tool for doing this is called environment design. It's basically you doing for yourself what those Japanese manufacturers did in their factories. It's all about consciously shaping your world to make the right things the easiest things to do.
And honestly, it boils down to 2 incredibly simple steps. First, you reduce the friction for your good habits. If you want to go to the gym more, pick a gym that's literally on your route home from work. You want to read more? Just put a book on your pillow before you go to bed. And second, you do the complete opposite for your bad habits. You increase the friction. Want to watch less TV? Unplug it and put the remote in another room after you use it. You're just making the default path the best path.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Stop trying to force more water through the hose. Instead, look for the kink. What is that one point of friction you could remove today that would let your good habits just flow? Find it, unbend it, and watch what happens.